nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's good to see you here tonight, Jamie. Welcome. And all of you out here. We're missing a few. Would you go ahead and please call the roll, and Melissa?
Mr. Brown, Mr. Brumbaugh,
Here.
Mr. Fasig,
Here.
Mrs. Fenstermaker,
Here.
Mrs. Gill,
Here.
Mrs. Clyde.
Brad sent out an email that his team is in the tournament tonight, and Sarah is on vacation, so if someone would make a motion to excuse them, please.
I make a motion to excuse Sarah Clyde and Brett Brown.
Second.
Mr. Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Fasig,
Yes.
Mrs. Gill.
Yes. Okay, thank you. In front of you, you have the regular council meeting from June 13th minutes. Need a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 13th, 2022 minutes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Mrs. Gill,
Yes?
Mr. Fasig,
Here. Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Okay. We have some visitors here this evening. Deborah Scarrett, I'll give you the floor.
I'm here, Stephen evidently got another letter about mowing the property down by the cookie there. He has the front, and then there's the creek, and then there's that back lot. We thought last fall we had the problem taken care of. There's no bridge across, and ever since he had bought the property, we've been going like to the cemetery, up to the building, along the railroad track to his lot, and not, cutting through the cemetery. But they said we would be charged with trespassing if we did that anymore. So Matt Cogley was going to build us a bridge. Well, it is now almost July of this year, we still don't have one. I've been talking to Matt, and he's checking into getting the boards long enough to go across. We don't have anything yet. So evidently he got a letter, or somebody stopped and told him we had to have it mowed like this week. So I really stopped was to see if the cemetery board met tomorrow night, because I thought they did like the 4th Tuesday of the month. But what are our options now? He said they don't go until the 26th of next month.
Do you want to share?
In the letter that I sent Steve, I stated on the bottom that you have 60 days. I talked to the cemetery board president, who is going to allow you to have access to cemetery property for 60 days to mow your lot.
Okay.
And then after the 60 days, the time is up.
Okay.
You will be fined.
Okay.
And
Mowing
mowing the lot is a weekly thing, not a monthly thing.
Right. We just haven't, like I said, we thought we had this taken care of last fall, and then we got wet, and it got put off, so we kind of figured we'd be first on the list come spring. We talked to Matt and Mia, and we still don't have one. Is there, maybe this is who I should ask, but is there anyone else who does that kind of thing? I don't know who else to contact.
I think there's several people around that mow.
No.
For the bridge.
Oh, build the bridge,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We can mow it, just we can't get there, because we were told we would be charged with trespassing if we went through the cemetery.
I don't know if Robin Kirshner would do anything like that or not.
Like I said, I was at a total cost other than Matt to even who to contact.
Matt would be a good one. I would recommend him.
Keep on his.
Robin Kirshner, I would agree with Greg.
Okay.
Something he could probably do. He can.
Well, that's it. I'll contact Matt and tell him, we've got 60 days to get this done, and within, 15 or, 30 here, if we don't have something in place, we're looking elsewhere. If that will suffice to get us started here again. Okay? Plan?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Pam?
I
have several questions. I'm assuming we're going to be blacktopping these ruts down here at the four-way stop where the carryout is. When coming from the north, I sort of have to swing out because if I stay on my side, there's a big, and I come down Oliver Street tonight and I notice, but if it's gonna be a while before they blacktop it, shouldn't somebody be putting some more stone in those ruts? I don't know whether it's.
I guess I have not been down there to pay attention to the ruts.
Yeah.
So.
And I did catch where she was talking about the mowing, but I walk the streets on a daily basis. Down there, right where Paddock's is, I would say Paddock's old house, where that empty lot is. I mean, that is disgusting.
It's on Main Street.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, the grass is mowing or coming over the sidewalks and that. And I would think the neighbors would be up here at the console wanting to know why those people aren't keeping.
I think there's renters right beside that lot, right?
Who?
I think there's renters right beside that lot. Not that that makes any difference.
I sent out a letter to that lot. The owners live in Lipstick.
Okay.
So I sent that out last week. And
You still haven't heard anything? Well, it's getting higher and higher. Okay, and then my last question, I don't know who's in charge of it, but out there at the cemetery, that memorial area where they have the bricks and that people had bought to have names on, that is out of control. I stopped there this morning, the bushes need trimmed, there's weeds growing up amongst the brick. There's like a flower vining that's growing in the bushes that's covering a lot of the bricks. I mean, that is, and we had people coming in for Memorial Day and I'm out of town and I'm sure there were unhappy people the way that looked. Now, is that the cemetery board is going to be in charge of that, or the people who take care of the cemetery?
It might be the Legion or the VFW, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I have talked to them and they said it's not them.
Okay.
So I didn't know, whether, does the cemetery board, I don't even know who's on the cemetery board.
I am, so I will bring it up at the next one.
You're at the
Find out.
on the cemetery board?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I say, I didn't know whether
Right.
they would know.
No, not, you always go by it, but I guess I haven't noticed it.
Well, take a walk.
I will.
Take a walk.
I do
Because-
walk it, but I always forget about the
Well, the bushes
monument.
really,
Yeah,
and there's
so.
leaves that was left
Yeah.
from the fall.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
an unhappy,
Okay, yeah, we'll
Okay.
get that taken care of.
Okey doke, that's all I got.
Thank you, Pam. John?
Actually, looking at old business, it was about downtown revitalization grant and such.
Okay.
So I didn't know if that would be better suited just for during that
That's fine.
conversation.
We can talk during that.
Sure.
And Tim and Sharon, anything at this point? Okay. We had some meetings, committee meetings. Mr. Fasek, you had PMP?
So, Jeremy's report was, I missed that sheet. Provided a run summary for the board to view. Reported that the month of May was rather slow, but June was picking up. Reported that the fuel and supply prices are going up, and he's working to find other sources for some of the needed drugs that they need to have on the truck, right? And other than that, and also they're still looking to move forward to create the joint district. So that's all I have to report from the June 21st, 2022 meeting.
Any questions for Mike? Okay, Jamie?
I attended my first fire meeting on the 21st. They reported that they had 55 runs for the year to date. Several calls were due to the heavy storm damage in the area, and they've spent a lot of resources trying to help clean that up. They've had 3 recent parties interested in joining the fire department, one which already has their card. And then we went over some more of the staffing information. With the staffing information and the interest in mind, their gear expires every 10 years, so they're looking at doing a purchase of at least 3 sets of gear this year to help replace any gear that is expiring and make sure they have enough for other members that would like to join. For the radios, the county has still not supplied them, but the county has voted to pay for the next 3 years of service on the I Am Responding program. So that's good, and the new updated truck estimate is $758,000, which is good until August 15th. The grant is with the grant writer, and they are currently working through that process. No estimate of when we will get back on the grant.
Is that like the zero
Yes.
interest loan from
Yeah,
Hancock Wood?
from Hancock Wood.
Yes.
No, it was 500 at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, truck, yeah.
Yeah, the truck was about 525,000 over a year ago, but still couldn't do nothing then because the funds weren't available. So yeah, I mean, you have to, the state requires you to appropriate the funds for whatever you're gonna purchase beforehand.
Any questions for Jamie? Okay, thank you. Tyler,
Yeah.
planning and zoning?
We met last Wednesday on the 22nd. We discussed the Rolling Meadows subdivision, the new application that was submitted. During that meeting, we heeded the solicitor's advice to send notifications to the condo owners in that area. It appeared they were incorrectly reading the auditor's website and so on and so forth. I believe those letters went out at the end of last week and discussed there's no need for a new application to be submitted. We would just discuss that application on the meeting on July 20th. There were 3 applicants that submitted a zoning request change to their properties in the downtown area. We reviewed all 3 of those applicants. One of them had several buildings listed. The current B2 designation that those downtown area falls under does not exist in our book. There were motions made to change them all to C3 and all the motions carried. That's it.
I did check with the solicitor, because there was someone who felt that we had to have all of those properties that moved to be surveyed, and he assured me, no. So that is one answer. The overlay, we'll probably have to look at that. Those that do have apartments, you may not only be business, but you may also have with your apartments, so we'll have to look at that down the road. And you have any more to add to that?
I do.
Good.
So I told you I'd find it.
He told me this morning, that was at noon, and I'm like, okay.
Not easy. There was just a question about whatever this area is, to get it zoned properly. If B2 doesn't exist anymore because of some snafu years ago, and that it should be, or the village council would want it to be, this C3, council can do that on its own. I printed off that ordinance. It doesn't have to be by an owner basis. The village would love to have these properties all be rezoned from blank to blank. That can be done. And I'll pass around, I'll pass around just so you have it, so if the village does it, now or in the future for any kind of property, it can just be one parcel, that there has to be an open meeting, there has to be notice, there has to be a newspaper, there has to be all this stuff. So all those owners affected, and it sounds like in this case, they don't be happy about it, but that they would have the ability to know about it and object to it, or say, great, whatever. So I just want to be sure you guys have that. I don't know how copies I made, but the council members ought to have them, so I should have some extra. But it just goes through the hyper-technicality, put them all on notice, and the village desire to redistrict downtown to blank, here's the properties that it is.
Okay.
Did you leave one for Brad?
Okay, you'll pick that up somehow? That's what I did, I kinda did.
We have mailboxes.
Okay.
You don't know that.
That's what I
You have to
counted,
have
right?
mailboxes.
Thank you.
Yep, that just shows the technicalities of it. But yeah, the village on its own can do it without the owner making the application, in case they were just out of town, crazy or otherwise, because it sounds like it's benefits.
As far as the overlay goes, is that concerned about having mixed use, Kathy?
I think we need to make sure it's listed on there.
It is, I don't have, I didn't bring my book, but that C3 it's quite broad. It's
Okay,
meant
then
to
I need to go
encompass-
back and reread it myself.
Oh, what C3 is?
Yeah.
Here.
It just says residential, but doesn't.
You're talking about what C3 means?
Or what all like types of businesses or whatever could be, uses could be in the building.
I'm just looking for anything that has residential or conditional uses permitted, residential, so might be okay with just not having it as an overlay?
Whatever you, yeah, it looks like I think it even says at the beginning, it's one of the broadest, classifications.
The most zoning district,
Right.
perfect. It does list residential.
If you want to keep that, that's fine.
I felt comfortable with it too when I found that Matt
Okay.
was in favor of it. He's
Oh,
the
yeah.
expert.
Okay, we'll need a motion then to accept the minutes from Tyler.
I haven't set mine in yet.
You have them written out or typed out?
Yes. Well, my clip notes.
Make a photocopy, send it out.
I didn't know when they were get them.
Can you,
Typed up and sent.
we can do what you said verbally, and then can you just kind of ad-lib that and type them up or write them
Yeah.
up and get them to Mel and
Mhm.
send out? So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Gill?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Under old business, the Downtown Revitalization Committee. I think you have been working on that ordinance and had some ideas, suggestions.
Well, I think if it's something that the council wants to implement, the one sample from Mason serves its own purpose. It's a little bit, a lot of extra language that we may not need, things that we don't have. We don't have an engineering and building department, so on and so forth. So if it be desirous of council, when I'm told to do so, I could draft something up that seems to fit the village better. But a design review board is a design review board. It's different than a planning commission. A lot of people think of a planning commission, but doesn't that cover it? Well, if you read closely, planning commissions are about planning for public buildings and things that the village or a city owns. And the design review board says this is about all the other stuff in our community. So if you have a downtown that you want to look unique and keep bright, then that's what a design review board does. Finley has one. I think they do. I never knew what one was till about 10 or 12 years ago when it came up, because they got involved with the way somebody wanted to redo a downtown building. And just to use a bad example that I'm famous for, what a design review board does is somebody here in downtown Macomb couldn't say, I'm going to buy that building, or I already own the building, I'm going to paint it red, and the shutters are going to be yellow, and I'm going to have all these crazy words on it, and I'm going to tattoo shop. You say, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's got to go through the design review board, and it's probably not going to work. And the design review board would be such an entity to review that and go, that really doesn't fit our downtown, it doesn't complement that particular building, or whatever the case may be. So it allows you to kind of have control over those sort of modifications and so forth. While planning commission is more about buildings already that are owned by the village itself, how a fire station looks, how a police department looks, and whatever. So if you don't have a design review board, then people can do whatever they want with their building, and if it helps get a particular grant, because you need to have a board in place, then so be it, do it. And so that's what this long, multi-page document does down in Mason, but we could certainly shorten it up and
Now, Sarah had
serve our
sent you
purposes.
this one. That's the one that John worked on, Sarah
I don't know, I have this one. This is just the one establishing it.
This is the one that John had sent out. Did Sarah send it on to you?
I don't know. Is this our own code?
Yeah.
Or is that the old one? I mean, you said there might have been an old one from the 70s?
No, this is,
There is an old one where we did have a board established, but nobody here has any idea when or why or what it was
You're
used
repealing
for.
that one.
yeah.
Um,
The one that I worked on repealed the previous, had all the updated codes in place, referenced the issues of enforcement for people who are out of compliance, and then also referenced everything specific to Macomb proper. So the job's already done, other than just a couple of tweaks, if you guys wanted to take a look
Is
at
that
it.
what this is?
Yes.
Okay, well, sure. Then, so if council wants to have a design review board, then we ought to at least put together some kind of a draft and start kicking it around, or whatever you want me to do.
I think all of council had a copy of that. Did you get a copy? Okay, I'm bad, sorry. Tyler sent out an email. I did have a few suggestions in there. On this one.
I can throw it out there.
Certificate of appropriateness, which was found. Another question, it talks about including signs. In our actual zoning, there's a whole section on signs. Would this take precedent over the other zoning signs?
Probably would be in conflict if they were completely different. I think your design review board is more concerned about buildings, but if you wanted to have something about signs.
The way the language is written, it references signs in accordance with the Department of Interior standards for historic preservation, but several clauses later, it also ultimately gives ultimate review for council itself. It's simply just a strong opinion that the board would have.
Okay.
To review
The actual signage.
type of signage.
Exactly. So if we wanted a double deep that had some old English script and that was in conflict, then ultimately it reverts back to council to make that decision.
Like, I know the flashing ones are not permitted.
Right. No neon,
Nobody
nothing.
wants to have that
Exactly.
flashing all night when you're trying to sleep in one of those apartments.
Right.
These aren't numbered. Underneath, I think it's like your third page. An elected who's on that? John had one member of village council who may not be the same individual as the individual serving on planning and zoning. 3 members from the public with a preference given to professional members of the fields of archaeology, architecture, architectural history, local history, interior design, planning, law related. And then on down it said preference shall be given to proposed district property stakeholders. I had checked with Lauren and she said that a property stakeholder certainly could serve on that. The issue is they will not be permitted to vote.
Correct.
For any of the things that may affect their building. And I talked with Rob a little bit about that today as well. I'm just sharing it with everyone. When I talked with Tyler, let's say we have the 5 people, and John has expressed interest in serving on that. Let's say that Joe Wasson, who owns a number of buildings, let's say he would like to serve on that. So that would take 2 of the way. Then you would only have 1 from the actual community that may have the archaeology, architecture, history, and that. So we have to be careful how many I think that we would have of property owners. Because if it's something generic and you have 5 people and 2 or 3 of them are property owners and they can't vote, it's not going to go anywhere.
Specific to that, another couple sections down, if there were an issue to where we had a situation like that, you're allowed, per what I've drafted, to put 2 additional members, making sure you keep an odd number.
Odd number.
To verify that there would always be some sort of tip one way or the other, that would allow that to grow. There's no cap currently, but it's exponential to the point to where it would alleviate those problems if they were to arise.
Most of them say 5 to 7
Yep.
on the board. I did want to reach out to someone at the Hancock County Historical Society to see if they would be willing to serve on that as well. I've checked with Deb Ewing already. I had checked with Brenda and Joe. I'm not sure either one of them is as interested. I did think that since Tyler is into old homes and has probably one of the neat old homes in town, that you may have an interest.
By default, he's already on there anyway.
Pardon me?
I said by default, he'll
Right,
already
with
be on
the
there
planning
anyway.
and zoning for now, right.
Right.
But I'm saying down the road,
Future.
that could
Sure.
change.
And then I'm on there, so.
You want through what?
There would be like a second person from council.
So what are you
If-
filling in, Mike?
I'm filling in as a position on the design review board for
And-
council.
There
And
was-
how did you get to that position?
There's 2 people on council.
I get that.
Okay, sorry.
But I think the mayor is the one that appoints that, and I would rather it be a council that's deciding then. So that was a couple of my things. There's some references in there to city ordinances versus village.
Mhm.
Those will have to be changed to village.
My mistake for not catching that. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, a couple little other typos, like the design review board should be capitalized. Again, zoning would be capitalized village, city to village. The preservation district will need it to be changed to mirror our downtown due to the fact that there are 3 homes within that area, because we run it to Cyphers and then that vacant lot, and it's listed to go to High Street, which would include Boyers, Hankins, and somebody else on the corner.
I don't believe I referenced anything in there. If I did, it was my mistake. I thought I left it intentionally blank.
No, it says 1138.09 designates an initial preservation district being made of all parcels with road frontage on Main Street, stretching between High Street and Liberty Street. High
Mhm.
would include those 3 properties.
Okay.
It would really be all the parcels we're listing for the burning ban
That's
minus the
correct.
bank.
Right.
I don't think the bank will be included in the historical development. That building's too new. But would the bank
We
count
included it in the burning.
in the burning?
in
For
the-
the downtown ordinance.
Revitalization.
I don't know if the bank would be appropriate or not. I've been thinking about that lately too.
Well, what if they came in and said they're gonna make it real modern? I mean, right now it kind of fits in, but what if they were gonna, you know,
I see.
the high
Yeah, you're
and
looking at it
the
through different
angle?
lens,
I'm
yeah.
thinking down the road.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not looking at that one.
More from facade versus actually utilizing
Yeah.
grant funds. Sure.
Well, any ordinance on any topic can be drafted and proposed by anybody and submitted for council to be, make a motion to, I guess, have the beginning processes to have it adopted, or council can discuss what they want in an ordinance, and then when we get to the bottom line of it, then it gets drafted by myself. Something like this I would do versus Melissa, would get it and get drafted by myself to fit that criteria. So there's 2 ways to go about it. People think of ordinances being drafted by, a law director or the solicitor of the village. An ordinance can be drafted by any councilman who say, I want to discuss this tonight, I want an ordinance on parked cars, and here it is. And nobody may take an interest in it, and it dies right there, because somebody may make a motion to have it read, and considered, and then it goes from there to a street read. So whatever anybody needs me to do, or however John wants to finish this out, or on behalf of council, or on behalf of a council person or a council person, that we don't have 3 people working on one thing.
Tyler, did you have anyone else submit any ideas or changes to you? No?
No. When I looked at it, I reviewed it as from like a lens of risk back to us in the village, and making sure we weren't gonna put anything in place that would get us in trouble. I didn't see any, I'm not a lawyer or an expert at reading this stuff, but I didn't see anything that jumped off the page like that. That worries me. So I feel pretty comfortable with it.
Is everyone okay with, I know Sarah told me she sent it to you, but making a copy of this and having him tweak it?
That'd be
Okay. Reminding him to make a copy. John, on the front page there,
Yep.
like your chapter 1138,
Mhm.
where did you pull all those numbers from?
When we actually had our meeting with Matt,
Okay.
I just pretty much referenced, because
Okay.
at that point in time, we were still working off of and still technically are, a carbon copy of Finley Code.
Okay.
And the numbers jive all the way through.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Sure, no, good question.
Pardon me?
You probably eliminate numbers.
That's what,
The only thing that we were trying to reference was the cross-reference between what old code numericals look like versus what American law actually has referenced on their website.
Okay.
So if you want no numbers, we can do that, or if you want modified, that's fine too.
That's the problem, is what's on American legal doesn't match our numbers in the zoning book that I have.
It's been driving me
Yes.
crazy.
There's a lot of mismatch.
Well, we've sent everything over to them. They have it all.
Can a concerned citizen start pestering them?
Yeah, I can get you their address.
I would love to.
Just, there's been a lot of people referencing it, and then I go to my book, and they're.
Like,
It's
huh?
not there.
Yeah, the whole book doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there that's not.
I'll get you that done.
I'd love to. I'll add to my list of
Add
things.
another book to that, Tyler, when you're trying to do things.
What's that?
Add another book to that when you're trying to do things, the old code.
I feel for you.
Okay, anything else on that committee? I can tell you where we're at. Mr. Seifert is still trying to get a couple updated estimates. I will give him a call tomorrow. I talked to him on Friday again. We gotta get this sent in. Tyler came up and scored them, other than the Seiferts, what we couldn't score. I had Haley score them last week. I've scored them, and Melissa and Greg were both out last week, and I'd like for them to go through them as well. And then we will be contacting Lauren and sending what the people have sent in, saying this is the choices that we would like. And she will either say yay or nay and send it off to the big people that will go, we think we'll fund this, so then we have to come up with our money. I have sent those letters out. I have received 2 no's from 2 different people that they do not support them, the Hancock County Community Foundation and from Hancock County Regional Planning. They will not support grant funds. Tim Maley suggested I reach out to Hancock County Regional Planning and see if they would support it.
For what?
The application fee for that grant.
I was gonna say, has there been any donations locally to offset that fee?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have met with Deb Ewing, who had questions from Rotary, and answered all them. I don't know how often Rotary meets.
Second last Tuesday of every month. Twice a month.
Okay.
They should be tomorrow.
Okay, so she may be bringing that back to you guys.
Okay.
Mr. Maley suggested that it come from the actual property owners. I would like to see us be able to come up with enough to get this started without having to go that route. So, we are moving on, so I plan to have that in to Lauren yet this week. So,
And just for clarification, did we confirm it's 12,000 for the application fee?
10 to 12.
Okay. Do we have an actual signed contract with them yet for this?
No.
Okay, and the only reason I had the question on it was the first meeting we had on this several months ago, they had made comment that after we paid our application fee, it would be a continual freebie every year thereafter for them to submit.
Okay.
And I just wanted to verify that we could get that in writing.
Okay.
So we could stretch those dollars.
I will send that off to Lauren tomorrow, just so that the rest of you in here are aware. Sharon received somebody tried to scam her on it on her computer the other night.
I looked that up. That's on the computer about that scam.
Is it?
If you Google that organization, right off the bat, it tells you exactly what she told me they said to her. Right there, they were telling you how they're going to come at you and what they're going to tell you. And then they always have another person to verify that they have done it and they got the money. Well, they said anytime you have to send money in to get money, that's a no.
Well, Sharon was wise enough to realize they told her, was it $300 or $400 they wanted Sharon?
Yeah.
And told her that she would be receiving her
$100,000.
well, $45,000 that she is asking for that grant.
That was the part that threw me, is they knew, someone
Yeah,
knew
I don't know how
exactly
they
how
knew
much
that.
money we were talking about on the paper.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
It's kind of
And
scary.
if you
Yeah.
Google that
Someone
organization, it pops right up.
Said they were an agent from the CDBG.
They spoke
Yes.
broken English too, so they weren't even in this country.
Lauren, she's checking into it to see whether there should be something filed, just for action, so. But I did email her last week and heard back from her today. Okay, anything else on the revitalization?
Is there a drop dead date? Do we have to have everything done by?
We can't do this tonight as an emergency. Well, first of all,
Oh,
it's
no,
not
not for this, but for actually have stuff submitted to POGA.
She told me July 1st.
Okay.
So what I will do is, once these are scored, star the ones that we would like to send in and have them, and then she'll get them, and she does her thing to probably the historical people. Hey, this is what they're, and once she hears yes, then she's had 100%, except for one time at Walpock and years ago, she said.
Sure.
So then we have to have our money and everything.
Okay.
We're getting close.
So when we will come in agreement on, and our vote for the design review board?
Pardon me?
When will we come to
Well, we're gonna have to wait
a
till
vote or decision on the design review?
till Mr. Feiner gets her.
Yeah, you gotta have an ordinance to have a motion to adopt.
I think once this document, the way I've understood how, once this is adopted, we'll put the names in it, move on.
So I can cross T's and dot I's. Second to last page, it calls out the need for a map.
Yes.
Is there already one in existence, so I don't recreate the wheel?
What we'll end up doing probably is just going on the auditors.
Sure.
Doing the Google.
Yep.
And A, B, C, A, B, C.
Just highlight them really
Yep,
clear.
put a red line around it.
And is that something that you would like from me?
Actually, Haley here can do that for us.
Okay, I'm not, let her have at it.
I will have her get that done. Okay, Macomb's 175th anniversary celebration. I think that a lot of us have little bits and pieces to share tonight. Gosh, Judy, we didn't really give you much to do for this. And let's see, Joe didn't sign up for anything. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, I think he signed up for all those items. Beth, do you want to share out what all
Yeah.
you've taken care of?
So I reached out to Todd Kramer with Kramer Times, and he has come up, I think I gave you guys all a thing of a design for the banner. Of course, we're gonna have to do 2 of them. Now, I did tell Kathy, to do, they're 500 apiece, so they're gonna be $1,000 probably. If, hopefully you can get a less, just depends on what we go with here. But this will be like a 14, I think it's 4 foot by 14 foot is how big the banners will be. I talked to Kathy about it, she got a hold of some
I have
people,
some
yeah.
additional funding, which I'll
Yeah, so, she said, you know, we've got to go ahead on this, so this is the design set. Cause I didn't wanna go ahead until I got an A-okay, so these are the designs here, if anybody wants to choose, or if you have some other design.
One of the things that Beth said she was thinking out loud that day, because of the
Oh, yeah.
14 feet,
Yeah.
is getting 2 of those red, white, and blue banners,
Bunting banners.
bunting
Yeah.
banners, and put one on each side of it to
Yeah.
kind of dress it up, and we'll extend it a little further.
Yeah.
Look great.
That's what I said. Think out loud more often.
Is that gonna be across Main Street then, or is that?
Yeah, there is a lot of there. Of course, Todd is a perfectionist with his sign.
Oh, I know, I've used them before.
He doesn't want it flying in the air, so I'm gonna have to talk to Joe
Thank you.
on his building.
There's only one cable, right?
There's only one cable, but he's gonna put grommets in it, and he would like to have somehow to, do the bottom, so, and I don't think Joe will have any issue with me asking, you know, to tie down his sign on the bottom.
We'll do that before the design review board.
Yes. So that, and I mean, if we get these signs, I mean, we can keep them up, and I told him, I said, if it's weather, I'd like to keep them up for a while, depending on what you guys wanna do, I mean, we're here for a year,
We take them down before Christmas.
Yes,
When
yeah.
the Christmas decorations go up.
So.
You can't reuse it.
Right, I know, I know, try to
Duct tape.
use it.
Change the 5 to 6,
Yeah, I'll just have them cut out the 175. So, whatever you guys wanna do, cause I told them I would let them know tonight.
Is he charging more for the color?
I don't think so, he said, you know, he said he might get the cost down a little bit, but it's pretty much 500 a piece, yeah, so.
That's honestly a really good price for
It
those.
is, yeah.
Half those prices are about $4.50 for a 4x8, so
Right,
you're doing
yeah,
fine.
4
And
by 14.
he's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's done work for me in the past. So, does anyone have a preference?
I like the one in red.
I like the second or third one the best.
I think the red picks up for Macomb, and then if you have the red, white, and blue buntings, that's just, but they're all nice.
I feel.
That'll be 4 foot by what?
Like 14, 4 foot, there is always 4 foot, down, 4 foot wide, I guess, yeah, and then 4 foot, 14 foot, 14 feet. You can go as far as you want, cause
So
it's 28
how
feet
many,
across,
are there,
it's
there gonna
28
be,
feet across.
are there gonna be more than one of those on the banner, or?
It'll be back to back.
Yeah, I understand that, but you got a 14, you're 4 foot this way,
Yeah,
which if I go 4 foot, then that only gives me about 3 foot or approximately for my emblem, right? Height wise. So
Yeah,
then
right.
I would end up being 3 foot width wise or just a little bit over because of that banner, right? And then I have all this extra.
well, that's the reason we kind of did this out here, so just think of this as 4 foot.
Okay,
here.
so
Yeah.
I see what,
Yeah.
so what you're giving me, I got you.
Yeah.
I
The
see it.
entire
I see
stretch
it.
all the way across.
I see it now.
Yeah, okay.
I was just seeing this.
No,
But I
this would
see
be
how
the
you
whole
spread it all
banner.
across.
He just is
I
giving
got
me
you.
4 designs,
Yep.
yeah, and so
I'm good.
that's.
I like the red and black. I'm good with-
You good with that?
That's fine.
Is everyone okay with that? Yes. Okay with that one then.
Okay, I'll let them know, thank you guys.
And if I don't get the design from Holly, she's promised me,
I will talk to her.
I'll walk over again tomorrow if she's open. I
She
may-
had that same design kind of, didn't she?
That is the design. That's
I
what-
may
that's what we want,
contact
yeah.
Todd and see if I'm allowed to use that for brochures and things.
Oh, okay, sure.
And the extra money, I had met don't know, early in the spring, I think,
Someone will want
with
that.
Cassie, who runs the Heart and Soul. And there is money that we can actually ask for every year, and I don't believe Macomb has ever asked for it. And what did she tell me? There was $888 or $900 in it, so I did request that, and you may have checked already, I don't know, Mel. No?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did get that for us, and that certainly meets all of our needs.
Okay. I have the pencils, I did get the pencils. If you want me to get the pens, let me know, I just didn't wanna, I wanted to be okay on everything before we start anything. Other thing with t-shirts, I wanted to get with Holly, cause we had talked about at the Cookie Festival, taking orders.
Are we taking orders, or do we want her to just have so many and sell them?
I can ask her that, I don't know, I mean, I was thinking of taking orders, but
Will people come in and get them?
I don't know.
You know,
Yeah,
coming
that's
back.
true.
If you have
Maybe.
medium larges, extra larges, and whatever, and you have 10 of each,
And
try
if
to
I-
sell them out first.
And if I run out.
And then if they run out, take an order and a phone number.
Yeah, I can do that.
I think if people are apt to buy it if it's late.
Yeah, and then I did talk to, okay, take a minute. That's what happens when you get old, Mike. It's your birthday. Why am I drawing the blank? Ritter, Dan, talk to Dan.
Mhm.
So if we wanted to put up a pop-up tent down there,
Oh, with the-
I need to let him know, he would just put us on the list to come
Mhm.
down there, so I was going to assume, I just wanna make sure if we wanted to do it or not, and then I will let him know if we want to do that.
Thoughts?
I
It'll
can
just be
I
that
can volunteer,
afternoon.
yeah, I can volunteer to do it for a couple of hours.
I mean, I'll have grandkids, so I can trade off some.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you wanna be down there, what time's the thing start? It starts at
The
1?
parade's at 10.
10.
Yep.
I should know this, and I don't.
They have not sent us their update for the.
Okay. At 1 o'clock, and I asked if you were gonna be in the parade, and you are, okay, cause I was gonna make sure that you were in it, so. But like if you wanna do the pencils down there, or do you wanna
I
save those
think-
for the 175th, or?
I'd say we get rid of some of them down there.
Okay.
I do have a pop-up tent if.
I want to.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
Well, I'll just tell them that we'll be down there.
Tell them to put us a spot.
Okay, will do, yep.
And the two that aren't here tonight will have all the hours.
Yeah, to make up.
For either of the events, just something I thought about, if there's gonna be a lot of things available, do we have bags, or do we want usable tote bags with the Macomb 175th on them, or something? That way they can put their t-shirt or pencils or any other goodies they might be getting.
We hadn't thought about that, but if we
No.
look into that, instead of pens, we talked about the
The buttons?
The
buttons.
yeah.
Or would you rather have magnets? That would be on my other thing. I know that they did magnets way back when. I don't know what people would want. What would you like, magnets or?
You put a magnet on the back of the button and stick it on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Piece of cake.
There you go.
You're signed up, Sharon.
I just told her how to make $1,000 back.
Yeah, she said after the fact, when we're done with the sign, if we want to auction it off. somebody
Everybody
will
sign
want
it.
Oh, yeah.
175
Raffle.
years of the village, someone's gonna want it.
That's not a bad idea, yeah. So,
Do you want me to have Haley look into bags and see how much they are?
yeah.
An email?
Yeah.
I mean, we have our logo.
Yeah.
They don't have to be the best bags, but Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something that Holly would do as well, or?
I don't know, I've never known her to do too bad.
It should, I think it's part of the screen printing process.
Yeah.
So.
Some people would like that.
Okay,
They're
we'll check
reusable
with Holly
bags,
and
yeah.
Haley and see what we can come up with.
Okay.
There's my contribution.
Good job. The other thing, we talked about having a church community service. All 4 ministers here in town are on board, actually having a meeting tomorrow. hopefully there are no funerals that they have to cancel out for tomorrow. 2 places, in speaking with Tony, we can use the cafeteria and move the tables out. They are just redoing the floor in the gym and would prefer not to use the gym, plus most people don't want to sit on those bleachers, where they purchased some new chairs, new to Macomb chairs from the Liberty Benton sale. Tony also mentioned maybe we would want to check with the Legion since it's air conditioned. I know the cafeteria, he said, can blow a lot of air, but I don't think it's air conditioned. I'm not 100% sure. So I was going to kind of let those preachers kind of make that decision tomorrow, see what they're up to or up for. I did speak with Dan Ritter. Dan, I'm always doing Pat. Dan Ritter. And I also said something to Ed the other day over at Primrose. If this is all set up tomorrow, if they would be interested in doing like their drive-through dinner again, have a lunch, or maybe if the fire department would rather do a pancake breakfast like they did for Memorial Day donation type thing. So I will keep everybody posted on that. The grant, we did get that grant to pay for all the ice cream cake and all the utensils and plates and napkins, so we have that covered. That will be 7:30 on August 8th. So the 6th, which is a Saturday, right now we have the free swim, a movie night, still need that movie name.
Yep. Bad Guys.
Bad Guys?
Bad Guys.
For real?
For real.
I mean, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Bad Guys.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
that's on the 6th.
Correct.
So that's Saturday. Sunday we'll have the service, possibly breakfast or lunch. I don't know if we want to do the little tractor or if you want Craig by that time. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
And then Monday we'll have the meet the team, a little bit about the village, and cake and ice cream for everyone.
I still have on my notes so we still need to blow up screening, right?
Just already got that squared away. I got the contact information, so I'm going to reach out to him.
Okay, so you already talked to him?
Yes.
Okay, because I had on my list to talk to him. Okay.
It was brought up to my attention, no problem, I know it. Now, Deb did a cemetery tour 1 year, or I didn't know anything about it. So.
Did she do one?
Yes.
It's my understanding years ago she did one.
Someone was interested in that as
well. I'm interested, like first part of October doing one.
Well, we will.
And she will not be teaching.
That'll still be part of the 175th.
Well, yes.
You can still go.
That bottle, the bottle is no longer there.
A bottle?
Yeah.
A little open in a tombstone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard about that.
Yeah, there's no bottle. of
You've been
whiskey in
drinking
there
that?
anymore.
You've been looking for it.
No, I did find the tombstone. It's on the north side. And it's really unique, but yeah, they were talking about how the bottle used to be in there.
Well, I know it was brought to me, and someone goes, they would love to have that back again.
And I think it'd be fun to get the battery lanterns or real lanterns and do it that way.
Yeah, so.
When we take the 8th graders to Washington D.C., that was one of the activities we do in Alexandria, and they took me through yeah, that was fun. Okay, I think we've got that one moving forward. Anything else under old business? Okay, new business. I would like to see if we could change next month's finance meeting. Both Greg and Melissa will be gone during the normal finance, and I think it's important that they be there. I know Sarah has an item, and I've received at least one other additional item. So if we could meet like at 5:30, go for up to an hour before the regular meeting.
What's her name?
Fine with me.
Okay. Then I will send that in to the courier. Anything else under new business? Okay. Council reports. Beth, do you have anything else to add? Tyler?
Yeah, just something really quick and easy. We had our Rotary outing Saturday, and their winner was, I have his name wrong, Randy and Julie Buck.
Okay.
They won. I think they already have a pass for this year. That's probably they can use it for next year. I don't know if there's something we could fill out for them and date it for next year we could give them to, it's all record.
Greg's done certificate like things before.
That's all I have. Yeah, I didn't really.
I was gonna say, did you do?
Yeah, weather was beautiful.
Yeah, you couldn't have.
Those teams we've had are the last 40.
Jamie, do you have anything to add? Okay. Mike?
Yeah, I don't know how we'll go about this, but yes. So, I wanted to look at, make an amendment to the council agenda to move the citizen speaking to the end. And, so that way it gives the opportunity for the council to, speak on their reports and so on and so forth. And at any point in time during the meeting, then, if their topic of discussion is coming up, then, once everything's discussed by, council person reads the report, then at that point, then they would be able to, the citizen would be able to speak their 3-minute limit based on if they had any interest in that area, so. So I don't know what the process-wise, how to go about that.
Well, if you make a motion to amend the rules, and see if you get a second vote.
Okay. So on that.
And where would you like to put it?
Where I'd like to put the acknowledge the visitors, right after council reports, or actually no. Actually after the mayor's report, because I mean, honestly, that way everybody's got the chance to speak on behalf of their committees and the stuff that they have tasked with, right?
The only comment I would make is you'd be the only village I'm aware of that puts citizen speakers at the end. And if somebody wants to come and talk about how their property gets flooded or there's trash in their neighbor's yard, they gotta come at 6:30 and wait till sometime between 6:31 and 8:30 p.m. to be heard.
That would be my own word.
And then they gotta sit on meeting to be heard on a simple topic.
All right.
That'd be the concern, and that somebody that's
I'm perfectly fine.
contentious could say you're
I
trying
just want to be
affect them
open
from
so they
speaking.
don't feel like they have to speak right at that point when they come in here. If they're here for whatever, they see this agenda and they're here to speak on behalf of downtown revitalization, at that point, they don't feel like they have to, give out their speak at that point.
I think we try to run it flexible enough that, I know, John, we've gotten down and you're like, hey, yeah, speak up, let's have
Okay.
that open communication.
I'm good with that one. Okay, item number 2 then, I'd like to make an amendment to the reports and minutes to include all supporting documentation that's put in front of us. You can view it on the website with the minutes. I'm asking for a motion.
And what is it that you would like on there? Because we keep adding more and more.
Everything that we ever included on previous council and everything that we have in front of us. That way anybody has the option to review all that documentation. Unless it's a confidential piece of documentation.
I've gone back through our website. It's been, 2020 we've been doing it through Meeting Link?
Probably.
Yeah. And I can't find where there's anything on there that's been posted. Other than the minutes. Haley and I went through it. We tried to find Cause I was looking for a reference point when we talked
Yeah,
about this
well,
before.
all the supported documentation on last year's, council has the minutes, plus then it has all the supported documentation. If I go back to April of last year,